Welcome. I'm Mental Coach Liv. Something that may help you be more confident is having a strong sense of self and understanding of your identity. When you know who you are, it makes combating negative self-talk so much more manageable. It also makes transitioning from team to team or organization to organization much smoother. If you know who you are and your values, you can better adapt to change and align yourself with organizations that you want to be a part of. Of course, you do not have to have it all figured out today or even tomorrow, but something you may want to start thinking about is your identity and values. Identity is how one perceives to be viewed by themselves and others in their social environments. We can have multiple identities that make up who we are. For example, you probably would say you are an athlete. The extent you identify with the athlete role in your life is known to make up your athletic identity. You may also have the identities of a friend, a sibling, a partner, a student, or even a cultural identity. The roles we engage in every day inform who we are and who we become. Life is crazy, and it requires us to hold many different roles. It can feel overwhelming to be an elite athlete and maintain a social life, travel, or take care of ourselves, which brings us to values. Values that we hold can help us decide which roles to give time and energy to. It's time to get serious about your values because these will help you climb the ladder of success and more efficiently in life and in sport. A lot of times our values can be a predictor of our future success. For example, if you are someone who values honesty and integrity, you may not cut corners as much compared to someone who does not have those values. If you have a value of family, you may view your team as a family. This activity I have for you this week is to take a look at a core values list. When you go through this, circle all the values that you have or want to live by. From there, I want you to narrow down that list to 4 or 5 quality values. Next, I want you to write what actions you have to take to live according to these values. For the sake of mental training, these actions can be related to sport. And after you pick 4 or 5, I want you to create an acronym to remember these values by. So for example, my values make up the word Selah. Selah is a Hebrew word that means to take a break or pause. It also reminds me of my values, which are to serve SE with empathy and love while being accountable and honest. If I can do this each day and provide my clients with a pause in their life to do the same, then I've done my job and I can be happy with the outcome or product of the day. This makes approaching challenges and managing pressure and failure so much easier because I am rooted in my values and acting in alignment with who I am. This helps me to transition into new organizations because I know what I'm about, and I know what organizations to seek out that align as closely as possible with my values. It ultimately lives a more holistic lifestyle that increases my well-being. And as a reminder, our mindsets matter, so how we think about ourselves and who we want to be matters. Your homework this week: take action this week by doing one thing in line with your values. Allow yourself to explore, without judgment, what values are important to you. Over the course of your development as an athlete, these values should become more apparent to you. The goal is to not let your values shift too often. Are you someone who wants to hear about this from someone else, like an ex-soldier? Check out the Kentucky Resiliency Lab podcast, as episode 28 covers athletic identity and finding your values. This episode was transformative for me, even though I was the podcast host at the time. Speaking with Jason Cummings was an amazing experience, and I would highly recommend anyone listen to that. I've linked that below in the comments. Check it out. And without further ado, I will see you next week. I'm Mental Coach Liv. Thanks for tuning in.